Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Baruch Yahweh Shabbat Hashem Yahushua. We're at Isupk, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, in 1969. We're under commanding General Yohanan, here to teach the truth of the Bible. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites according to the scriptures. Now, today is the Hebrew Lashon Kodash class, and as we've been going over the Hebrew, as you know, over the past few over the past year or so, we've been doing the ancient Hebrew class. So what I want y'all to understand about what we're doing here is we're picking back up where we left off last week, right? Where the Isupk prayers are a pinnacle part of our Sabbath services, our feast day services. These are the things that we want to start to lean less towards the English and more towards the Hebrew. What I mean by that is this, and I say this with all seriousness. When Christ returns, what language is going to dominate the planet Earth? Is it going to be English? Is it going to be Spanish or Chinese? Is it going to be Hindu? Is it going to be Arabic? It's not going to be any of those things, because it's going to go back to the original language that was given for the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel to take back. This is our culture. So when we go into the Lashon Kodash, keep in mind that this language is the language of the future. Even though we say it's ancient Hebrew, a language of the past, we are reviving it on this earth so that we can continue to serve the Most High with what is called the Holy Tongue, the Lashon Kodash. So when we read this in the Hebrew, be ready for the full confidence that is going to come from our kingdom taking over the earth. And then, of course, under Christ and under the Most High, that this language is going to be what dominates. So it's important to learn this now, because the more that you know now, the more ahead you will be when that time comes. This is an exclusive look into what is going to be the dominant language on the planet. So this would be something that you want to take serious. Now, when we do the prayers are an important, integral part of our structure, not only in the school, but our culture in general, right? And so learning the Hebrew, getting the chance to understand the vocabulary and to build that vocabulary in a way that is separate from the Yiddish and the modern Hebrew of today, we go to the most ancient version. And you can refer to any of the characters on this alphabet right here to understand how it is pronounced and what it looks like both in the ancient and the modern Hebrew. So when we go back to this version here, because I know this is a lot right here, but if you've been paying attention over the past few classes, you can always go back to our video catalog on Isupk San Antonio on YouTube. You understand? You can see us on our social media, such as Isupk_SATX on both TikTok, Instagram. You can see us on Isupk San Antonio on Facebook. We've been going over these things. The prayers are something that we are going to start leaning more towards the Hebrew in rather than English characters. So when we start to read this, I want to cover what we went over last class very briefly while we had the chance to do so. And if we have any technical difficulties, be advised that we have been going through some of these things, so it could happen. But if it doesn't, good. And if it does, just make sure that you stay locked in with all of our social media platforms to stay up to date with everything going on. Because we're going to make sure to bring you on-demand content that you can watch at any given time for any particular topic. And that if you have any questions, that your questions will still be answered regardless. Okay, whether it be through live stream or whether it be through video uploads, because we want to make sure to answer every question that you guys have. We want to make sure that you have all the resources that you need to continue your growth in your spirit and in your consciousness towards the truth. Understand? Now, the prayer that we went over last week at the end of the class is the blessings prayer. The blessings prayer is a that gives credence in the order that is considered the righteous order on earth, where we begin with the Lord. And we go through the ranks and the structures of everything under that to make sure that all of Israel is covered. And, of course, the hierarchy of everything above that, right? So this is what we read. In the ancient Hebrew, go ahead and get your mic ready to copy, because you're going to read along with us. All right, go ahead and unplug it. It should be good. Charge should be good. Just go ahead and hold the power button to turn it on, and then you'll hear a sound, and then you should be good. You good? Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to say is, bless you, Yahweh, and Christ, and Michael, and the angels, okay? Because that's the order of things. God always comes first. Christ always comes second. We talked about this in the book of Hebrews, okay? how Christ was given a higher rank than even the angels themselves. So that is the exact order that we read it and what we pray. Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah, wa Allahayim. Wa Mayaka Allah. So wa means and Michael. Wa Mayaka Allah means and Michael. Wa Allahayim means the angels. Now we go into our earthly structure, the structure of those that were given the rank to carry forth the truth and spread it to Israel on the earth. Now, this rank is important. You'll notice that you're not going to see anybody listed from here on out that is of any other Israelite school. Why is that? Because the Israelite school that brought forth the two sticks together, that brought blacks and Hispanics together, blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians of all 12 tribes of the nation of Israel together. This is the school that has done it. There is no other school that had done that before what we've done. And so it's important that the leadership structure that has been given to the highest ranked people in the school for today, 2023, is that we'll go over this before we even begin ours. But when we begin our side of things, that also goes in order from the highest ranked general or priest, if you would, or chief, if you would. Because we went over some very important scriptures during our Sabbath service last week where we talked about different ranks amongst the Israelites and even cultures that got their language from the ancient Hebrew, whereas chiefs, generals, dukes, those are some of the terms in English that would refer to what the high priest would be for Israel. So when we go to this, now we'll go from the beginning, Barakatah Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa Mayaka Allah, wa Allahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawak Yahana. Right. Commanding General Yahana just visited London. Okay. You can go to Isupk and look at anything that has to do with London. You're going to see a lot of heavy information being brought out from the Isupk's visit overseas, right? Or like they like to say, across the pond. So the ocean is not a pond. Okay. It took 1.5 years to get all the way across there. But it's funny though, because people from English are always quick to say it's a pond, right? When they talk about going from Europe to America, let us not forget that that's no light journey, because our tribe knows especially how hard it is to get from one part of the world to the next, right? So Commander General Yohanan was recently in London, and his name in ancient Hebrew is pronounced Matazab Ya'ah Alawak Yahana, right? General or chief is where you get Alawak from. And then we continue. Ha-Alawakium. Right, so there are 7 total generals in the Isupk under Commanding General Yohanan, and he is included in that rank of 7 generals. You understand? Why is it that the Isupk is only 7 generals? Anybody have any idea?
7 generals?